Tinnitus caused by muscles of the jaw and head? Really? Is somatosensory tinnitus for real? Do you want the short version? The answer is yes, absolutely. Today I'll show you how we know this to be true. First, what does somatosensory even mean? Well, somatosensory or somato means body, and sensory, of course, is related to sensations. So somatosensory, more specifically, relates to sensations that potentially come from many different areas of the body like skin, muscles, and joints, as opposed to special sensations of sight, sound, or smell. So let's dig right in to answer three questions. Why are we confident that somatosensory tinnitus is for real? Next, how common is it? And finally, can it be explained by any good nerve science? Now, many of these answers will come from a great review article authored by Dr. Massimo Ralli. In upcoming videos, we'll answer what you may consider the more important questions. First, can you do anything to help it, or to help you specifically? And how do I know if my tinnitus is somatic? And what's the best treatment for tinnitus from neck muscles? And what's the best treatment for tinnitus from jaw muscles or TMJ area? For now, today's first question is, why are we confident that somatosensory tinnitus is for real? And how common is it? So it's sad to hear of so many stories of people going to different so-called specialists that don't even mention somatosensory tinnitus as a possibility, much less help to diagnose it or refer for a good solution to it. So let's talk about it. We say someone has somatosensory tinnitus or somatic tinnitus when their tinnitus appears to be preceded or strictly linked to an underlying musculoskeletal problem, like tight or tender muscles or joints, rather than hearing loss. So how can we show this connection? Well, firstly, can you increase or decrease your tinnitus with certain physical maneuvers or tests? This changing of tinnitus volume, pitch, or number of tones is called somatic modulation. This somatic modulation tells us with certainty that your musculoskeletal system is influencing your tinnitus. Now, it doesn't guarantee it's the cause, but it does get us closer. So at that point, if your movements affect your tinnitus, I would say you have somatic influenced tinnitus. We'll talk more about those maneuvers and tests in upcoming videos. More importantly, I'll share with you how you can know with about 80% certainty that your somatic tinnitus can be improved with special somatic therapy and what that therapy is. Did you know that 69% of people with tinnitus can change their tinnitus by certain movements of their body, especially the jaw and neck muscles and joints? 69%. And some certain eye movements or limb movements can even influence their tinnitus. Now, here's something that's really surprising. Peculiarly, many people don't know they can alter their tinnitus until they've been shown how. As little as 16% of people self-report somatic modulation. That is, being able to alter their tinnitus with muscle and joint movements. But when they know how to do the maneuvers, it increases to a whopping 69%. Are you saying that almost 70% of tinnitus sufferers have somatic related tinnitus? Well, all we can say for certain is that they have somatic influenced tinnitus. Not all those who can modulate their tinnitus can benefit from somatic therapy. Even so, wow, how come no one told me this? You say, I don't know. Well, actually, yes, I do know. It's because there's no pill for it. It takes work, it takes lifestyle change, and it will likely never sell to the masses. So big corporations will never push their money in that direction. And if researchers, doctors, hearing aid sellers, and others want to make a living, they must follow where the typical consumer will spend their money. Fortunate for you, I do not follow the typical consumer. I just look for the best natural solution, and I allow consumers to find me. The second thing we're looking at here to know if somatic tinnitus is for real, and this is a key one, does tinnitus get worse with no musculoskeletal treatment and get better or go away with musculoskeletal treatment? So this was looked at in one study. Lee found that those with TMJ disorder have a 322% increased chance over 3 years of follow-up to develop tinnitus. 322% chance. Looking at it from another direction, TMJ treatment was predictive of long-term improvement of those who had TMJ dysfunction and tinnitus. Tolberg and Ernberg reported that 2 years after treatment of TMJ disorders, 43% of patients in the treatment group had decreased tinnitus, compared with only 12% of the patients in the untreated group. Can somatosensory tinnitus be explained by good nerve science? This is our final question. Well, nerve tracing studies are where they inject dye into auditory neurons, in this case, typically of rabbits, and they see where the colors of this dye spread when they dissect the brain stem later. So these tracing studies are very valuable at showing where neurons from the ear and muscles and joints seem to start interacting deeper in the nervous system. What we find is that as early as the very first neuron relay, called the cochlear nucleus, nerves from all over the head and neck start converging and interacting. These nerves come from the auditory nerve, of course, as well as nerves from the muscles of the head, face, and jaw, called the trigeminal nerve, and nerves from the muscles of the neck via the dorsal column ganglia, and other brainstem nuclei as well. Wow. So all these connections, all the connections are there to explain why this happens. The science is there. They've tested these connections in living animals also. Stimulation of the trigeminal nerve, the one that supplies the face, part of the ear, and the tongue, was shown to alter how sound is delivered to the brain. Not surprising, but interesting now that we've proven this. A final interesting note is that deafness in one ear leads to an increased number of neuron connections in the auditory cochlear nucleus from, get this, from the neck, face, mouth, and jaw muscles and balance centers. What that means is that a loss of hearing, even partial, or one-sided in this case, increases the chance that your neck, face, mouth, and jaw will affect your hearing and perhaps tinnitus. All right, take a deep breath. That was a lot of information. You know what? I'm learning from this series as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know you are more interested in what follows, where I discuss the diagnosis and treatment of somatic tinnitus. So stay tuned. The best way to stay connected to tinnitus research and therapy applications, as well as being notified of new therapies and videos, is to sign up for our newsletter at tinnitussynergy.com. Thank you, and may God bless you.